Washington, the Donald Trump administration is reportedly set to rescind rules put in place after the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, meant to prevent a repetition of the largest oil spill in American waters. It will be only the latest in what may be one of Mr. Trump's most far-reaching legacies, and one that he has achieved very quickly: the dismantling of federal environmental regulations. Some of this has been in the name of states' rights, and for the primary benefit of the fossil fuel industry, with the aim of transforming America into a global energy powerhouse. Trump has rolled out the most corporatist administration since at least the age of the robber barons. Mr. Bob Deans, author and director of strategic engagement at the Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC, wrote in a memo last week. He has raided, or signaled plans to raid, public waters and lands, from the oceans and coasts of the eastern seaboard to the teeming Arctic wilds of Alaska, and exposed them to industrial ruin for the sake of big oil, coal and gas, he wrote. This has happened at lightning speed, with powerful input from lobbies and corporate interests, Ms. Sharon Geinup, a global fellow at the Wilson Center in Washington, told the Straits Times. Within days of taking office in January 2017, Mr. Trump signed off on two multi-billion-dollar oil pipelines, Keystone XL and Dakota Access, which had been stalled on environmental concerns and objections from Native American tribes. December, drops climate change from list of national security threats, announces plans to reduce the size of the 1.35 million acre Bears Ears National Monument created by President Barack Obama in 2016, by 85%, and the 188 million acre Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument designated by President Bill Clinton in 1996, by nearly half. Opens part of Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil exploration. October, Environmental Protection Agency scraps Obama-era Clean Power Plan designed to slash carbon emissions. June, U.S. pulls out of Paris Agreement on curbing climate change. May calls for slashing Environmental Protection Agency budget by 31%, which translates into a U.S. $2.7 billion reduction and the loss of 3,200 jobs, according to the World Resources Institute. April orders a review of Obama-era bans on offshore oil and gas drilling in parts of the Arctic, Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. On June 1, he withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Agreement on curbing global warming. Last week, Mr. Trump celebrated the opening up of part of Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge for oil exploration. Earlier this month, he shrank protection for two vast national monuments, Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante in Utah, by nearly 2 million acres. The borders of others are being reviewed, under the logic that the land should be given back to the people rather than be controlled by Washington. In November, Mr. Scott Pruitt, head of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, told an America First Energy conference in Houston, Texas, Washington has become way too consequential in the lives of Americans across the country, and the president has elected to change that. About 60 environmental regulations have already overturned or are in the crosshairs, Ms. Geinup told the Straits Times.